Alright, hopefully this is working. I never used OBS before, so there's a good chance I messed something up. I'm just hoping it's recording as well as streaming. But thanks for tuning in. I wanted to do basically 15 minutes of updates every 6 to 8 weeks. Just to show what we're working on at Parsegon. Some things cannot be conveyed over email or even through just graphic design and everything. So thought it'd be ideal to just do a really short 15-minute session about some new things that we're working on, and then make it very accessible for people to watch. So I have a few things to talk about today. If you could see on the screen behind my video is a picture of the site. Hopefully the quality is good enough to read the individual words. But one of the biggest things that we've been working on lately is our compatibility with phones. We originally thought that, it's a web application, it's going to be used on laptops. There's no reason to be mobile compatible. At least we don't have to be mobile compatible at first. But we've realized the contrary is a bit true. Even though teachers might be more likely to use laptops to actually write out assignments, students prefer to be able to answer on their phone, either they're on the go or it's the only device they have accessible at the time. One of the other things is that if we have an assignment that's mostly multiple choice, it kind of makes sense that you should be able to do it on your phone opposed to having to log in. So we've actually made this site much more mobile friendly. And to demonstrate this, I'm just going to drag this window across. One of the things about OBS is that it seems to slow down the computer exceptionally, because it's recording a video and it's streaming at the same time. So forgive any slowness of it. And this computer has like 3 displays connected to it, so it's already being pretty taxed. But as you can see here, this is a much different look to the traditional site. Originally, when you logged on your phone, it was just a normal site. Everything was just shrunk down, and you kind of had to zoom in to do things. This is a little bit more mobile friendly. So the way this works is that you can quickly see new answer choices. We actually built in delays to make sure it has a much more mobile feel. We realized if everything's like instantaneous JavaScript, it is very easy to mess up. So we designed it such that the mobile delays are almost equivalent to that of an app, and it feels pretty natural. Beyond that, you could change questions like this. You're also able to show your work. One of the things we did is that double tap allows you to type in math. Originally on the computer it's Control M or there's a button. On phones the screen size is much more limited. So it makes sense to do it via some type of tap. You could also handwrite in the braces to generate an equation. And then likewise you could modify the solution. I am not actually solving this, just writing in random numbers for now. But as you can see, everything changes immediately as I type in new stuff. And the same applies here. And then beyond that, one of the other things is that it will tell you if it's saved with this flashing thing in the bottom left-hand corner. So that's currently where we're at for the mobile compatibility. We envision that we also have this similar functionality built in for teachers, and we're hoping to roll this out. Towards the middle of March, we'll probably roll out the student side much earlier than that. So that's one of the main things we've been working on. Some of the stuff is also a little bit new. You kind of have this interactive guide link over here, as well as a breakdown of the questions. Nothing too fancy, nothing too big, but just small guides to help students with the way they will navigate through the assignment. Right. Second thing on the list is, so one of the other things we noticed is that some teachers, or some schools rather, they don't have like a teacher to specifically set things up. They prefer to do it on an administration level, which makes sense. Like some schools, good there's a teacher, there's like one person that's in charge of technology and they will set everything up. In other administrations, there's like a department head or some type of technology supervisor that will set things up. And it kind of makes sense that we don't just email them a bunch of logins and they have to manually comb through each of these. So we built in this specific package that is implemented only for schools that are structured in a way that are office driven. We could do it traditionally where we just send a teacher the account credentials, or we could do it like this. So I made a dummy one for Parsegon Academy. Oh, this is a new photo, by the way. Very minor, but I am pretty happy with the way it looks. But anyway, you could activate the package here. and that way it makes sense in that the administration's activating the package, not individual teachers. Everything gets tracked like that. You activate it, and then once we start building at some point in time, everything will be done through this account as well. So it'll be all organized and available for you. Likewise, you could add other accounts to it. So the way this works is you would request an account to a teacher, submit it for initialization, and then there will be an email from Parsegon inviting them with the code to log on, as well as all the resources necessary for each individual account. So those are some new things. Kind of helps the organization of the site and makes things a lot more organized. There's nothing else too much to show about this. There's one other small detail I'd like to touch on. We added this feature because we want to be as committed to customer service as possible. We're promising 2-hour response time, so any issue during the day, if you email our team at parsegon.com email, we'll try to get back to you within 2 hours from Monday to Friday. But one of the other things is that we also want to make sure we foster a good connection with the school, so we added this feature in which the school could request a point person, and the point person would be someone we would follow up with maybe every quarter or every semester, asking, are there any problems, are there any things we could add for you, are there any features you would like to request, just to make sure we aren't boggling down maybe a principal who might be the office head, whose job is not necessarily to have that daily conversation. So we want to make sure we delineate that on the site, so we built in this extra feature. Cool. So I'm going to jump on to another topic. So this right here actually is not complete, but I do want to talk about it because I do envision it'll be complete for next session, I guess. So the way this works is we actually are working on this algorithm in which we could take descriptions, like templates of math equations, and we'll take those templates and actually generate out dozens and dozens and dozens of equations that meet that template. So a way to think about this is that we might have an equation from this template that is integral from 0 to 10, 10 being subbed in for random, of 10 times x, or maybe 5 times x. And then the way this would work is that it would actually solve those individual equations and only save the ones that have nice solutions. And the reason this is so helpful is that A, we could create content very fast. Like we could create thousands and thousands of questions very quickly. And B, we also have this nice benefit now of allowing teachers to write a template of equation, like a template of a question, and have that question permutated in different forms with different coefficients for each different student, right? So this helps fight against cheating, but also on the top of that, it allows a question to have like a fresh look for every single view, such that maybe you could even ask the same type of question with different coefficients and make sure they have mastered the concept. So that's like a new thing we're working on. And we're making pretty good progress. Talia, who is one of our developers at MIT in Boston, has been particularly leading this effort, and it seems that we are on a pretty good track to finish it pretty soon. Cool. So I'm gonna quickly log out of this account, and I'm also going to jump onto another branch of the website. Ignore my homework in the background, please. So this is more of a little bit of a teaser of something else we're working on. It's not 100% done, but a lot of the functionality is there. Sorry for the delay. All this is running on the local server, so it's necessarily taxed because of the CPU. Okay, so we added this new feature, and I also do want to talk about the generic assignment builder as well. But the way this works is we realized that there's a lot of crossover between what we do, which is math, and also kind of like physics focused, as well as economics, which kind of has like a pseudo math element. There's like equations, but there's also questions regarding things like supply and demand. So we actually are building this thing where like you could select economics instead, and from the student perspective, I probably should actually log into the student account. I'll do that at the ending. You'd be able to actually have these toggles where you could toggle up supply and toggle down demand. And it's built the same way as Parsegon's interface is built, but it's like nicely formatted such that it's really easy for like economics homework. So this is something else we'll be releasing pretty soon. A few other smaller things. One of the things is that we have this auto grade switch. We realize there's like two schools of thought. Some people believe that it's best for content not to be auto graded, such that students aren't guessing the first few times and then solve the equation. They like solve it from the start. There's others that believe that auto grading is important because it gives instant feedback, so you automatically know what you should check your work or double check something if it says it's incorrect. So it's optional now. Originally it was automatic, and this is switched such that you could add or you could toggle on and off auto grading. You also could add it on an individual level. So this might not make sense in the context of economics assignment, but the functionality is still available. But there's a second chances box, and the way this works is that you could say infinite second chances. So you could submit it as many times as possible. This probably doesn't make sense in the context of multiple choice. We make it available as an option, but probably doesn't make sense because otherwise you would just guess every single possible solution. But you could also hard set it as 3, hard set it as 2. Infinite second chances make sense maybe in the context of a numerical answer where you're looking for one specific thing. So that's like one of the other nice features. I'm going to quickly log in to the economics, the student side to see the economics assignment before we wrap up today. Madeline Lindy sent me a message saying, I'm watching your live stream right now, but it's a commercial, hee. Interesting. You should be doing your homework like me, which is due in an hour. So let me quickly grab onto this assignment. I believe it's this class. Cool. So the functionality of this isn't complete, but it'll look like this. So you could increase it or decrease it for demand and supply. What we're also working on is a graph that automatically generates, and you could drag in the lines up and down. So there's like that extra element as well available to you. Cool. I think. Oh, most important thing. I almost forgot about adding this. We have this new calibration tool. So I don't know. I might be able to quickly demonstrate this, but so this is this Chromebook, right? Runs on Linux, so like a version of Linux. The Mac is on OS X, and Windows is on Windows. And one of the things is that we realized that each operating system actually has a different font. Because even though Times New Roman might seem consistent, it's actually a different font per operating system. So what we did is we actually built this calibration tool such that you would choose the ones that look nice for you on the computer you're working on. So like let's pretend this looks nicer. When I would choose these ones, it would recalibrate my account such that the math is formatted for that specific settings that would make these hypothetically look nice. So if I was to log on to another computer, I guess I can't because I don't have the OBS software on this, but if I was to log on to another computer, this just typically works on Linux. The math would look now nice on the Linux computer, even though it wouldn't look nice on this. So that's one of the things we can't really get around, but we made it as easy as possible. You just select the ones that work properly, and once you select them, it automatically works for any future use. One of the other things is we also infer, we wrote a script such that it would predict if you're on a Mac, Linux computer, or a Windows computer, and then it will say, these are the scripts that matter. We realized there are a few edge cases that it might be weird to just assume it, because A, a computer could be spoofing a different identity, and B, I don't know if you partition or run a virtual machine on your computer, if it will have an impact on the way that data is transferred. I'm not too experienced in it, but it also made sense that we assume it, but if it looks funky, there's a link to calibrate your account, which you could quickly do on this process. Beyond that, it's currently very cross-compatible between Linux, Windows, and Mac, and we are working on extended compatibility for things like iPads and Androids. It is compatible as it is right now, but at the same time, we want to make some things that optimize it, because the CPU of those smaller devices is much more constrained, and we draw a lot of browser CPU when it comes to converting the equations. So those are some things we're working on, but I guess that's it for today. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll be uploading this video probably to either a YouTube or a Twitch page at some point in time. Thank you.